Howdy AdWords fans, welcome back to this exciting chapter where, as promised, we're going to go into Microsoft Excel, into a live account as you're seeing here, and take a look at how we could diagnose quality score issues in our account, how we could identify and point out quality score problems. So let's get to it. What you're seeing here is a live account. Obviously the keywords are blurred out and some of the more personal and sensitive data, because this is a client of ours and not they probably don't want their keywords and cost data to be seen by the world. But this is a live account and the data is absolutely real. So before we prepare our report that we're going to export, we want to make sure we have certain columns set up. Now over here we see a bunch of different columns. This is what we have for this specific client, but you want to for sure to make sure that your quality score column is active. To do that, all you got to do is go to columns, modify columns, and under attributes, make sure quality score is added. Over here it happens to be added. Let's say we had removed it and it wasn't showing. We would just go ahead and click the add button to add the column for quality score, and that's something we already saw how to do in a previous video, but repetition is good. We also want to make sure impressions are active, and usually your impressions will be a column that's active by default. We have it right here. So just make sure your impression clicks and cost columns are also active. So the imperative columns are quality score, clicks, impressions, and cost. Once you have that done, click apply. Now I just went over right into the campaigns tab for all my campaigns. So you might have started off at this campaigns tab here, but just make sure you navigate over to the keywords column. And as you could see, we have some display campaigns and search campaigns running. And because display campaigns don't have quality scores, we only want to export our keywords that have quality scores. So we could do that by setting up a really easy filter. So I'm going to go ahead and click filter, create filter. We'll cover filters in more depth in a future video, but this is just a great overview to the filtering tool. So we're going to click create filter, and my first parameter is going to be quality score. So I'll click the drop down menu and I'll find quality score at the bottom. I'll select greater or equals to 1. So this will make sure that any keywords that I export will have a quality score. I'm also going to want to just take a look at my active keywords, because we have a whole bunch of pause keywords in this account, and that might be a personal preference. You might want to take a look at pause keywords. You might want to take a look at just active keywords, but for now we're going to go and just select active keywords. To do that, I click the drop down menu once again. I find status towards the bottom and matches any eligible or eligible limited. So these are the active keywords in the account, and we can see more sub parameters over here. So I'm going to go ahead and click apply, and that's going to apply my filter to my data set below. And then to twirl this box up to give me some more space, I don't want to click clear. I want to click this little triangle, and then I'll be able to just minimize the filter and see all my data here. Now that we have all active keywords selected, and all the keywords that have a quality score, I could export this report by clicking the download icon to the left of the search box in the upper menu. So I'm going to click download report, and this is something we've also done before. I'm going to choose my format to be Excel, which is a CSV. I don't need to save the report. I'm just going to go ahead and simply click download. So now that I have my report open in Excel, we can start analyzing the data and going through it to find some really interesting information, specifically for our purposes to analyze and determine quality score sore spots. The ad group column, I changed the names. I kind of fictionalized or exemplified some of the names here of the ad groups just for the sake of protecting our client's privacy, but all the other data has remained intact, and it is actual live data. And the first thing we want to do is create a pivot table. Pivot tables, as you know, are really great tools to analyze information in different ways and look at numbers in different ways. And to do that, we're going to select the data we want to use for our pivot table. So I'm going to go ahead and select all our columns, and I'm going to go to Insert and hit Pivot Table. Now, Your version of Excel may very well look quite different if you're using an older version of Microsoft Office, but essentially the functionality of the pivot table is the same thing. It's just the iconography is different, the color scheme is different, and it might be in a different place, but it's usually under Insert Pivot Table. If you don't see the option for inserting a pivot table, just go ahead and go into the Help section and start typing in pivot, and you'll be able to see exactly where to start, where to find your pivot table tool. So I'm going to go ahead and click Pivot Table. They're going to ask me to verify the data range which I selected, so that's exactly the range I want to work with. I'm going to click OK, and now I have my pivot table in a new sheet. So the first thing I'm going to go ahead and do is name my pivot table. We'll name it Pivot Table 1 because we're going to create a couple of pivot tables in this tutorial, in this video. Zoom in here so everyone can get a good view of what's going on. We want to go ahead and add in the builder, the first and foremost quality score as our row label. So we find quality score over here, which is right here, select it, and by default it went into the values. I want to drag it into a row label. So now I have row labels 1 to 10. This is my quality score. I then want to add my clicks. Okay, so I have count of clicks. That's exactly what I want, the number of clicks per quality score. And I also want to include the sum of impressions. Google primarily cares about impressions. Google makes money by impression, and we want to know the percentage of impressions for a specific quality score range. So we want to click the sum of impressions. So we're going to add impressions as a value for a column, and we're going to, by default, impressions, if you see here, came in as count of impressions. If I click the info, I'll be able to change it to sum of impressions. So now I have a sum of impressions by quality score. So I want to format this column to include commas. It'll make it easier for us to see. So under Format Columns, right-click, Format Cells. I'll go to Number, use 1000 separator with 0 decimal places, and click OK. And now I can see a much clearer view of what's going on here. So we have, for this date range selected, which is the last month, we have 6,841,504 impressions, and now it's all broken down. Now it's all broken down by quality score. So for example, keywords with a 1 quality score, there was 1 click and 151,000 impressions. Keywords with 96 clicks and 176,000 impressions. And in fact, this has to be changed to sum of clicks.